Oh. Thank you. Okay. Title to the show will be Flat Earth and Marcus Garvey. We're going to talk about him. Now, the reason why I want to talk about the flat Earth because the Earth is round and etc. So we're gonna play a couple of videos. And we're gonna have a discussion about it. Hold on. Cause we're gonna debunk the flat Earth. Here we go. Let me screen share. Let me screen share that. Flat Earth is a Arxis and scientific negation. Excuse me, I was stuttering. My bad. Let me read this article. It says flat Earth is a arch and scientifically disproven concept of the Earth shape as a plant or disc. Meaning ancient cultures subscribe to a flat Earth comes to gravity normally including ancient near eastern cosmos largely. The model has undergone a recent research as a conspiracy theory. But we're gonna play this video.
I'm starting to get worried about flat earthers. I made a video about this a couple of years
ago. First, hold on. Here you go.
We'll start with some basic questions. The sky is...
In a world where it feels like nothing is as it seems.
Blue.
It's blue, of course. Oh, the sky's blue.
The sky's blue.
1 + 1 is
2.
2. 2.
2.
There's at least one truth we thought was indisputable.
And the Earth is
Flat.
Flat.
The Earth is flat.
My reality, my senses tell me that the Earth is flat and stationary.
Or so I thought. But for the people attending the first Flat Earth International Conference here in Cary, North Carolina, their Earth is indisputably not round.
Everybody here can agree on absolutely one thing, which is it is not a globe.
For centuries, a flat Earth was accepted as certainty until science and sailboats said otherwise.
One of the rules of power is you never admit that there's someone bigger than yourself.
But in 2015, this guy, Mark Sargent, posted his flat Earth clues.
Part of a series of clues that can help you get your head around both the design of the flat Earth system we live in.
You're kind of the father of this movement. How would you?
Don't do that.
You're the one who sort of started it all.
I did not invent flat Earth. All I did was walk up to a door, point at it, say, you know what? I think there's some really interesting things on the other side of this, and check it out for yourself. If flat Earth is a university, FEA, then I would be the freshman recruiter.
People have traveled from around, actually, Mark would say, across the flat world to attend.
The first rule of Flat Club is you don't talk about Flat Club.
Until now.
I have a poem about that. It's right here.
Amy Nicholson wrote a book of poetry about her flat Earth journey.
A few months flat and 7 months to rally.
Kim Gurley came to the conference from Houston.
I haven't really come out all the way yet. I'm still a little in the closet.
The North Pole's in the middle.
Lainey Inavali came from even farther.
I mixed with quite a lot of flat earthers in New Zealand.
You know flat earthers, I guarantee it. But you don't know who they are because they're afraid of talking about it.
1, 2, 3. We're not crazy!
Like many modern movements, this one has grown in large part out of the internet, with rappers like Odd TV evangelizing to hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
No more living on a cartoon ball.
And YouTube channels like
Globebusters,
encouraging skepticism about what you've been taught. For the serious students here at the conference,
This has got to a point now where it's becoming real.
it all comes down to proof.
When it comes to science, there's things you can test right now, right? Fire burns, water's wet, drop something, falls to the ground, that appears to be gravity. Those are things you can test, right?
But the curving horizon, the sloping sea level, the spin of the Earth, unless you can see these phenomena with your own eyes, they may not be true.
A lot of people are going, this is
crazy, right? But think about this. For the last 20, 25 generations, this is what we've told people.
Unlike what we've been told in school, some flat earthers imagine the Earth looks like a snow globe, round but not sphere. The North Pole is at the center of most flat Earth maps, with the ice of Antarctica holding everything in.
So are you certain this is what the Earth looks like?
Pretty sure. Almost. I mean, there are some details to be worked out, sure, but the basic concept is sound. Absolutely sound. And one thing, again, we absolutely know for a fact, this ain't it.
So those iconic blue marble images seen from space, flat earthers denounce them as fakes.
You start seeing words like composite or animation or something that tells you this is not an actual photograph of the Earth.
Yes, question.
So if you think you have questions,
Feel free to line up and ask them while I'm reading the opening statement.
the flat earthers have many, many more.
This is what returns to Earth.
Which is why I thought someone who's actually seen the Earth from space might have some answers.
1 + 1 is?
2.
What color is the sky?
Blue.
And the Earth is?
Round. Just like it is here, this model of it.
Professor Mike Massimino spent more than 20 days in space and worked on the Hubble telescope.
So when you looked at the planet, what did it look like?
It looks round, folks. It is round. My eyewitness account, and I looked at it as much as I could. It is round.
Okay, we're in the final countdown. How you doing over there?
He's played himself on the Big Bang Theory, but some flat earthers actually believe astronauts are just actors, part of a huge conspiracy going back to those very first steps on the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
You don't believe that they've gone to space?
No, not at all. The rockets go up, sure. There's nobody in them.
I hope you're ready to listen fast because I'm ready to speak fast.
Rob Skiba is another one of the celebrity contrarians in the flat earth movement. His popular YouTube videos and podcasts take clues from the Bible's book of Genesis.
There's no way you can get a spinning heliocentric globe out of anything in the Bible.
Are you just skeptical of everything?
I have become skeptical of everything, and I think rightfully so.
Pretty much everyone here, though, is kind of a conspiracy theorist.
I'd say that's a common trait, but I think there's a little bit of conspiracy theorists in all of us. I really do.
This is going to be fun.
It's why many of them do their own experiments. Daryl Marble packed a level on a flight to test if the plane was flying parallel to a flat Earth.
So there's going to be some science-y people who say that is a real Bobo experiment.
They have.
That's a little basic.
I know. It's so simple, it'll go right over your head.
The credo for many of these believers, check it out for yourself.
Go out and test.
You just want them to ask the questions.
Why do you believe what you believe? And let you go from there. Because I could tell you something, and then you just look at me and say I'm crazy.
A lot of people watching this are going to be like, that man is crazy.
I'm sure they probably do. And I would say, well, they're crazy for not testing what they think they believe.
But in a world of disagreements large and small, for something as clear as this horizon, the interpretation could be infinite. For Nightline, I'm Eva Pilgrim in Cary, North Carolina.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here.
Here we go.
You think that
now this is real truth right here. Flat Earth versus round Earth. Now let's play this video. It's gonna be a 10-minute video. I'm sorry. Video.
with the beautiful photographs that we have of our round.
Also, I dropped the link. I changed my mind. I'm not playing a 10-minute video. I mean, the flat Earth is real, and the astronomer had the because if I debunk the flat Earth, some people might agree with me. So the flat Earth is round. So here we go.
You may have heard about the flat Earth theory in the last few days because of rapper B.O.B. and his beef with noted astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson. B.O.B. declared to his Twitter followers that he believes the planet Earth is actually flat and that all the nations of the world have joined together in a massive conspiracy to cover up this fact. Here is how flat earthers believe the universe works. They believe the Earth is a flat disk which looks like this. The North Pole is at the center, with Antarctica forming an ice wall around the outer edges of the disk. This is why flat earthers believe the 1961 Antarctic Treaty was agreed upon by all the world's nations, so no one could reach the edge of the disk. They believe that this is the reason the UN uses this as their symbol. There is also a dome-like barrier called the firmament, which surrounds the disk. This is an impenetrable barrier that keeps the atmosphere intact. Flat earthers do not believe we have ever passed this barrier. According to flat earth theory, gravity does not exist. Instead, they believe in a universal acceleration, believing that all celestial bodies are accelerating upward at a rate of 9.8 meters per second squared. They also believe that Earth is not actually spinning and provide counter evidence to disprove the rotation of the planet, such as the fact that clouds in the atmosphere are not moving at the rate of 1,000 miles per hour, the rate of the Earth's rotation. Flat earthers believe that when Copernicus theorized that the Earth moved around the sun, all of the world's religions decided to accept his theories, and rather than risk being questioned, the world's religions have a vested interest in furthering the Earth globe idea. In turn, flat earthers believe that all imagery from the space program has been faked. Some of the most common pieces of evidence are the lack of direct commercial flights between two cities within the southern hemisphere. Unfortunately, and we are talking to you, B.O.B., all of these theories don't explain why a ship disappears over the horizon, bottom first.
Is this a joke? Because it's a joke, right? And that's where we start, because it's one of our two basic childhood facts. 1 + 1 = 2.
I mean, the Earth is real flat. right now, but I mean, the round Earth. Let's talk about that. The round Earth, and then we're gonna talk about Marcus Garvey, because the Earth is round and the Earth was really flat. So we're gonna play this video right here. What if the Earth was actually flat? I mean, play this video.
If the Earth had an edge, I hope it would look like this. The edge of a flat Earth. I know. We've talked about it before, but there's something mesmerizing about it. A flat Earth solar eclipse? Diagonally growing trees? The Great Wall of Ice, guarded by NASA, of course. The flat earthers sure have a great imagination, but what if they were right? How would the Earth hold up in space? Would it revolve around the sun, or would the sun rotate around it? And why would you never walk to the Earth's edge? This is What If, and here's what would happen if the Earth was flat. In case you missed the news on the Flat Earth channel, here's a quick recap. For thousands of years, the general public thought that the Earth was flat and everything revolved around it. Then, Nicolaus Copernicus came around with his spanking new theory. The theory said that the Earth wasn't flat and definitely not the center of anything. His observations led him to believe that our planet is orbiting the sun. But here we are, 500 years later, and some people around the globe are convinced that the Earth is flat. Well, how would this even work? Do you know why the planets form in a spherical shape? One word: gravity. Gravity is what's pulling matter together equally from every side. And as a result, matter forms into a sphere. Of course, this wouldn't be the case for a flat Earth. Anti-round earthers think that there's no such thing as gravity. We only feel like there is because some mysterious force is accelerating the pancake-shaped Earth upwards. I don't need to tell you that you can't increase the speed forever. At some point, you'd be going too fast. Ugh, does anybody feel like a burnt pancake? No? If you want some real science, then yes, there would be gravity on a flat Earth. And it would be weird. The center of gravity on a flat Earth would be right here in the middle. Everything on Earth and around would be pulled to this point. And the further you got away from the center, the stronger this pull would be. At some point, it would begin to pull you downward, so you would have to start climbing. This would be the reason why you couldn't walk to the edge of a flat Earth. Gravity would be so strong around there that it would be impossible for you to make it. You might never see the gorgeous 45-meter-tall wall of ice called Antarctica, guardrailing the Earth's edge. And you'd never learn what's on the flip side. But at least you wouldn't fall off of it. There would be other side effects of this funny gravity. Objects closer to the edge of the Earth would fall sideways instead of down. Gravity would also make trees grow diagonally on most of the pancake-like Earth, because they'd be reaching against the pull of gravity. All the rain, snow, and hail would fall toward the Arctic at the center of the Earth. The precipitation would converge and start to build up. The oceans would get sucked to the center of the disk too, and form one big ocean in the middle. A big concern would be the air pressure on a flat Earth. Gravity would draw too much air toward the Earth's center, leaving the areas around the edge with no air pressure at all. That would be bad because people living in a flat Earth Australia wouldn't have enough oxygen to breathe. And if you lived closer to the middle, where the Arctic would be, you'd be crushed by the weight of the atmosphere. But not for long. A flat Earth wouldn't have a geomagnetic field around it. This field is generated by the movements of the Earth's core, and, well, a flat Earth just wouldn't have one. Nothing would be holding our atmosphere in place, and eventually, it would spill into space. We'd be exposed to solar radiation that would cause cancer and damage our DNA. And we'd have no breathable air anywhere on the planet. So, I hope you're able to find a life support system lying around. Now, let's get to those questions we've all been waiting for. What would orbit what in this arrangement? Would there be a day and night cycle? Or time zones? Every flat earther knows that the sun goes in circles around a pancake-shaped Earth, and so does the moon. They're both around 50 kilometers in diameter and act like huge spotlights. But let's bring good old science to the equation. If the sun worked as a spotlight, you'd see it from everywhere on Earth, even if it didn't shine directly on you. It would look like those alien abduction scenes. I wonder where they got that idea from. In this system, there would be no day and night cycle. That would be pretty strange. How am I supposed to get my beauty sleep? Okay, I know how to fix this. Yeah, that's better. For a flat Earth to have days alternating with nights, the sun would have to orbit the planet this way. When the sun was up, the entire planet of Earth would experience daylight, and when the sun went down, the Earth would fall into nighttime. There would be no time zones and no seasons either, but you could still mess up your schedule by staying up late and watching what-if videos. You'd be lucky if the sun was so much smaller than the Earth. Sort of. Think of this. If the sun retained its gigantic form as it was orbiting a flat Earth, it would burn down the entire planet. That's because of how close it would get to us. On the other hand, if the sun were much smaller than it really is, we'd freeze to death. That's because the flat Earth would have nearly 2.5 times the surface area of our round Earth. We'd be getting only 1/3 of a regular-sized sun's energy. That's not enough for life on a flat Earth to exist. And we haven't even talked about this yet. The lunar eclipse. Flat Earth disciples believe in some kind of anti-moon that's responsible for these. On our round Earth, lunar eclipses happen when the Earth lines up between the sun and the moon. If that was the case for a flat Earth, this is how those eclipses might look. And even that would require some very special alignment. So, if the flat Earth conspiracy turned out to be true, that our globe was indeed photoshopped and GPS devices were rigged for some financial gain, well, that would open up a conversation to other conspiracy theories. Unfortunately, many people, including the flat earthers, are living in a state of cognitive dissonance. That's when their thoughts and beliefs aren't quite consistent and don't always represent reality. I mean, we are constantly exposed to pseudo-evidence that can support any theory at all, even if it falls flat with a bit of logical thinking. If Copernicus had spent 10 hours on YouTube watching flat Earth conspiracy videos, even he might have admitted he was wrong. And have you seen an Earth shaped like a donut? Well, that's a story for another What If. I might have overused the word round in this one.
Hey everyone, so some of you may be aware of my flat.
It was the second ring behind the ice walls, and I looked at it, and then that was enough evidence to let me do a live stream about it. But okay, hold on, type it in. I dropped the link if somebody will hop on the panel. Here we go. Okay. All right. Now the flat Earth is real, and then it was real because the Earth is round. Then I had did a lot of research about it. Then I had talked about it too a long time ago. I had did a live stream about a long time ago, but somebody had dropped me off the panels. So this is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have a discussion about this. So hopefully I get a lot of views on here when I do a live stream about this. And then 9 o'clock we're gonna take a music break, and then we're gonna talk about the Marcus Garvey stuff. So, and then we're gonna talk about the Pan-African. I had to took down the video because I had accidentally said the wrong name by accident, so I took the video down. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say Marcus Garvey. I don't know why I said the other name. I'm sorry, I ain't say his name wrong, but my bad. But this the thing with it's the thing with flat Earth. The flat Earth is real. The flat Earth is so it's just what it is about the thing about the flat Earth. Is the Earth is round, it's gonna keep spinning around, and then Bro Sanchez debunked it too. Because I had did a lot of videos, I did a lot of research about the flat Earth, and then I had screen shared the video. Hold on, where the and then here we go. Here we go. Fighting flat Earth theory. Go. If somebody want to debunk this, okay. Hold on, let me turn my mic down. All right. So All right. Okay. I'll be right back, people. All right.
This is
Excuse me. All right. Go. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, now this is the show. This is the show I want to do now. But the flat Earth, it's a real thing. It's the Earth spinning around, and we gonna have to debunk it. Now I'll drop the link if somebody want to hop on the panel. I'll drop the link, but you'll have no balls to come on my panel and have a discussion with me. I mean, this is don't make any sense, bro. It's like you got these fake flat earthers misleading the and using misinformation and all this stuff. But I just looked up on flat earth, and you got these fake ass flat earther people don't want to talk about the real flat earth, but they up there misleading people with misinformation. They're never going to talk about that. I mean, that don't make any sense. I'm telling you, man, it just got so bad now. Yeah, you got these flat earthers don't know about the real flat earth. Also, one more thing. Saturday, I think I'm gonna go live on Rumble, see if I can test to see if I can go live, because I'm done uploading videos on YouTube. I just got a first strike on my second channel. And they did reject my appeal because I did a video about Soulja Boy and 21 Savage beef, and they had flagged it for harassment and bullying. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start posting videos on Rumble, because this don't make any sense. Fuck YouTube, bro. Don't worry, I have freedom of speech on Rumble. I can post videos on there, so just what it is. I mean, this don't make any sense. It's like people need to learn how to debunk the flat earth stuff. I mean, it just don't make any sense. They would say don't want to debunk the flat earth. I mean, don't make any sense. I mean, this don't make any sense, bro. It's like the real flat earth people, it's just right. I mean, wow. I mean, this don't make any sense. Nobody's not talking about the flat earth. As of right now, the flat earth is real. It's the earth around, and then I did a lot of research about the flat earth. It's real. I think I should have had I had like 14 people watching me. And then somebody this is my first time. No, this is my second time doing a flat earth video. when I did a flat Earth live stream, somebody had kicked me off the Google Hangout there, which I don't know why who did that. So it just what it is, man. Hold on. Here we go. I mean, wow. It's like 1 million people had talked about the flat Earth is real, but now look at this. They just misinformation about the flat Earth stuff. And then they gonna sell their one of misleading the flat Earth stuff. And here we go. Right, here we go. I got it right here. Hold on.
See in the pictures, probably type in the ice wall. That is Antarctica, right? So you can see our world in the middle. Flat earthers, or some of them, believe that beyond the ice wall is this other world with its own continent. Saw this on Twitter the other day and I was scrolling through it, but the replies to it are insane. Like, they genuinely are so sold on this talking about how there was this one man that went to Antarctica on his expedition back in the day, and I can't remember his name, and he's got proof, and it's all up on YouTube apparently. You know, imagine if that was true, man. All
right, now let's play this stuff. I mean, this don't make any sense. And y'all never gonna talk about the real flat Earth. Here we go. Here we go.
Like, even when people say the Earth is flat, everybody thinks I'm joking, and I don't know why people think I'm joking. But well, it's me, so I guess that's why they think.
That's why they think you joking.
But when I say, like, I kind of believe the I just want to know what's on the bottom, what's under it. Like, if this is the flat Earth, what's here, and what are they trying to hide? Why are they trying to keep us from this? Why can't we go over Antarctica if Antarctica is the and everybody keeps saying God, and I'm like, that's where God is. Not God. Other.
I haven't had this conversation with anybody.
Yeah, I've talked to B.O.B. about this. He's not super informative.
God, what the fuck? Wow.
Because of the curvature of the Earth. Actually, we didn't settle it 5 centuries ago. We settled it 25 centuries ago. And in fact, I think that's part of the problem we have here, is the fact that people's understanding of history on this whole matter is rather poor. Well, how do we know it goes back that far? Well, Pythagoras, you may have heard of him with the Pythagorean theorem and a few other things that he did. In the late 6th century BC, he actually talked about the Earth being a sphere. We don't know what his reasons were. We can only speculate about that. But it went forward from there. But within 100 years, most Greek thinkers were thinking the Earth was a sphere. And so we have some good reasons for believing the Earth is a globe. How do we know that? Well, here we have a photograph of a total lunar eclipse. I took this in January of last year, about 15 months ago now, and it was quite a last total solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse visible from here, and this was during totality. This is about a 12-second exposure because the moon was very dim. But I also took photographs during the partial phases before and after the eclipse. And here's one of those photographs right there. I show the moon moving in from the right, upper right, in fact, and that's exactly how the moon moved in on the Earth's shadow. And you can already see the edge of the Earth's shadow there, and you can get an idea of the shape of the Earth's shadow. It's kind of a curved section there. Now, I took this about an hour before totality. I took another one afterwards, totality, and I put it in the same right position here, and I think you can understand now a little better what kind of shape the Earth's shadow is. If you're really not seeing it at all, I can help you out and put a circle in for you. Turns out the circle of the Earth's shadow is about 2.5 times that of the circle of the moon. So the moon can be entirely engulfed inside of that shadow, giving us a total lunar eclipse. Aristotle, in 350 BC, wrote a book called On the Heavens, and he wrote that in his book, this is one of the arguments why we know the Earth is a sphere. He gave a couple others. Here's another one I like. He looked at the altitude of stars in both the northern and southern parts of the sky. I have a photograph here of the Ark Encounter. Many of you will recognize exactly where that was taken, over near Zara's Cafe, looking at the front there. This photograph was taken by a good friend of mine, Jim Bonser from Iowa, a pastor there, a good friend of the ministry, and we had special permission a couple years ago. We went down there and spent about half a night shooting this photograph and a few others. And this is a half-hour exposure. You can see the stars are going in a big circular pattern. Near the center of that, just above the arc, you'll see one single star. That's Polaris, the North Star. And the Polaris, or the North Star, is within a degree of this point in the sky we call the North Celestial Pole. To the eye, and even to this photograph, it's going to look like the North Star stays still and all the other stars spin around it. Now, less known is the fact that that angle that it makes with the northern horizon is equal to your latitude. So at the arc, it's around 38, 39 degrees. So that's how high that the North Star is. And as I travel around the country and around the world, I always make it a point to look at where the North Star is in the sky. If I can find it, some parts of the world you can't. Now, this was Samuel Rowbottom. He was a 19th century Englishman. He wrote some books, did a lot of lecturing and speaking. He made a lot of what he called the Bedford Level experiment. The Bedford Level is this region in place in eastern England where the land appears to be very flat. There's a canal basically that's been dug that's very straight, and with no real tilt. There's not much of a current at all, and they've got this long thing that goes on for 6 miles that's reasonably flat. And what he did is he got down into the water there at point A on the right in the diagram, 8 inches above the surface of the water. That's key because if the Earth is a globe 25,000 miles around, then if you're 8 inches above the water, in 1 mile's distance, your view will be blocked by that edge of the Earth. Anything beyond that, sitting right on the water, theoretically will not be visible. So what he did is he had somebody get in a boat, a rowboat, and they rowed away from him the entire 6 miles. First mile, of course, he's in view, but beyond that, he reasoned, being 8 inches above the water with his telescope, the bottom of that boat should start to disappear, and the boat should continue on disappearing and disappearing. You can see a flag or a marker sitting up there about 6 feet up in the boat. Well, Rowbottom was able to see that boat the entire length. They said, aha, if the curvature would block out my view of the boat over 6 miles, and yet I'm still seeing the boat, then the Earth must be flat. You see this little red line I'm showing you here draws from the boat back towards the observer, but because of the curvature of the Earth, it's greatly exaggerated here, of course. It exits out into space, moving off on a tangent, so it's not visible. Now, I put down there that the problem is he ignored atmospheric refraction caused by temperature inversions. I don't have time to talk about the physics of all of this, but the speed of light depends critically upon, in air at least, depends critically upon the temperature of the air. In warmer air, the light travels more quickly, and colder air, it travels more slowly. As it turns out, bodies of water stay relatively cool during the summertime because water has a large specific heat. In the winter, it generally stays warmer. That's why if you have a location near a very large body of water, the temperature is moderated tremendously. The Gulf Stream, for instance, moderates the temperature temperature in the British Isles and parts of northern Europe. If you do this in the summer or in spring on a warm day, the air temperature is almost always going to be warmer than the water temperature. The water temperature will chill the air close to it, so you end up with a layer of very cold air, and the light moves more slowly in that. As it starts to move on that tangent, leaving the cooler air into the warmer air, it cannot do that. It's going to be refracted or bent downward, and it's going to curve along the edge of the Earth. There's a perfectly reasonable and logical and physical explanation as to why people sometimes get these results, as Rowbottom did 150 years ago, 180 years ago now, there on the Bedford level. Oh, I got a photograph here of a drawing, a depiction of the creation of day 2. You have there on the left Jesus the Creator, of course, according to Apostle John in the New Testament, and you have there the earth, and it's surrounded by this expanse, this rakia, firmament, the King James says, around the earth with waters above that. It's very clearly day 2 creation, and I want you to look at the shape of the earth. Do you get the impression that it is flat? No, you get this distinct impression it is a globe, it's a ball, it's a sphere. Now, where did this depiction come from? It comes from a Bible that belonged to King John the Good of France. Now, we know how old this Bible is because I think it was in year 1356. He was defeated by the English in the Battle of Poitiers, and this was taken by the English as part of the prize and spoils of war. And we think the Bible was actually put together around 1350. This is 150 years or so before Columbus's voyage. So again, by 1350, people clearly were believing the earth was a globe. Common knowledge, actually, in the West. So I would like to talk a little bit about some of the supposed biblical arguments for a flat earth. I don't have time to do all of them. I will talk about the rakia. That's a Hebrew word. This is something that God made on day 2. Its purpose was to separate the waters above from the waters below. People have debated exactly what those waters above are, and we'll continue to debate that. But this appears to be the cosmology of the Bible, if you will. Now, on day 4, 2 days hence, from the day 2 creation, God put the luminaries, or the lights, in the sky. He said he made the greater light and lesser light. He made the stars also, and I think that's referring to basically all astronomical bodies. There's a reason why I would say that. Many flat earthers today want to use the word star in the modern context and enforce it back on what most people throughout time thought stars were. For instance, the planets were stars, as it turns out. Today, we still sometimes refer to them as, say, the evening star or the morning star. I've taken some photographs and put photographs up of some planets recently, and I refer to them as stars. Why? Because that's what they look like in the sky. I've had people recently ask me about this very bright star in the evening sky. It's Venus, folks. It looks like a star, and I have no trouble calling it that because that's what it looks like. Now, in the early translations of the Bible into English, they translated this word rakia into firmament. However, many more modern translations translate it as expanse, and there's a very good reason why they do that, because that's probably the best meaning for the word. I happen to know several world-class Hebraists, people who really not only know Hebrew, but they know probably 18 to 24 other ancient related Semitic languages. And by knowing the full range in all those other languages helps you to understand what the Hebrew means. And they say unanimously that it means expanse. It doesn't mean this hard thing up in the sky, despite what many flat earthers try to claim. Now, they also argue, flat earthers say, well, the earth was made before the sun. How can that be? Well, we've always believed that the earth was made before the sun, several days before the sun. That's not a problem, all right? Doesn't automatically mean that the earth is a globe or it means it's flat. It just means that the earth was made before the sun. No problem at all. I don't understand what the point about that one is. They're saying, well, God, if he made the earth first, it can't be a sphere orbiting the sun. Well, why can't he? He is God. He can do what he wishes. Now, ultimately, you have to ask the question, if the Bible teaches the earth is flat, then shouldn't there somewhere be in the Bible some sort of verse that says something like the earth is flat? But there is no such verse. There is no such verse that says that. Now, what flat earthers do is they take a number of passages, number of verses, and they choose to read them in a manner that's consistent with a flat earth. And then they say, aha, this is the meaning of what the scriptures say. And I'm saying, well, no, you're going to be hard-pressed to find any Bible scholars, any Hebraists, anybody who's going to agree with you on that. Sometimes they'll say, well, those are just man's ideas. Yes, but you are a man too, so why should I believe you when you know very little about these things and these other people know far, far more than you do? It doesn't really work. The complaint that they're merely men works both ways, you see, but somehow flat earthers don't seem to realize that. Now, one verse the flat earthers love is Isaiah 40:22. That's one of their favorite ones. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them like a tent to dwell in. They say, aha, circle. A circle is two-dimensional. It's a flat plane. It is a round thing, equidistant points from a center in a plane. Therefore, a circle, this means the earth must be a circle. Aha, the earth is flat and round, as you can see here. Well, if you want to take that definition of the word circle, your particular peculiar definition of it, and you want to impose it upon ancient Hebrew, well, that's fine. But again, that is eisegesis. What does the Hebrew word there refer to? Well, it refers to something round. Now, is a circle a two-dimensional thing? Is it round? The answer is yes. Is a sphere, a globe, a ball, is it round? And the answer is yes. So both are round. And the word here is a bit ambiguous. It can refer to something that is a two-dimensional circle. It can refer to something that is a ball. They try to argue, the flat earthers do, that it means only a circle and not anything else, and that simply is false. Some flat earthers, and I can't believe they go here, they point out the earth having four corners. Well, does it have four corners? Let's look at it. Isaiah 11:12. It says, he will raise a signal for the nations and will assemble the banished of Israel and gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Or how about this, Revelation 7:1? After this I saw four angels standing at the four corners of the earth, holding back the four winds of the earth, so that no wind might blow on the earth or against any tree. Again, the earth, Scripture says, has four corners. There are no corners on a globe. So therefore, the earth is not a globe. It must be flat. Case dismissed. Slam dunk. We're done. As I said, I can't believe some flat earthers actually make that argument. Which is it? Is the earth round or is it square? Well, at least one flat earther in the 1890s, Orlando Ferguson, kind of split the difference. He had what I call here the roulette wheel model of the earth. It's square with angels in the corners, but then there's a round portion in there, and it's kind of, I call it the roulette wheel because it's kind of high in the middle and kind of dimpled like this, like a roulette wheel is sort of shaped. That was his model, and some flat earthers today, at least half-heartedly, talk about this one. I think most flat earthers, however, realize that the four corners talked about twice there in the Scriptures, once in the Old, once in the New, are references to the four cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. Even today, we talk about weather of the wind, for instance, coming out of the west, southwest. Well, you're relating it to four cardinal directions. That's the way most of us understand this. Okay, what about the ends of the earth? There are 28 times the phrase ends of the earth appears in the Old Testament. For instance, Psalm 67:7, it says, God shall bless us, let all the ends of the earth fear him. They say, aha, if you go to a globe, you go around and around and around that globe, you will never reach the end of that globe. So this cannot be talking about a globe earth. But if the earth is round and flat like this, there definitely is an edge. We call it the ice wall of Antarctica. Slam dunk, the earth is flat. Well, hold on a minute. Let's look at this just a little bit. I've got it underlined there. There's a parallel passage here. It says, God shall bless us, and then let all the ends of the earth fear him. Now, I ask you, if it's talking here about the ends of the earth being a physical edge, then you're talking about geography. Can geography fear God? No, it's not talking about geography, it's talking about people. Here's another one I can't believe some flat earthers use. The tree of Daniel 4, they read Daniel 4:11. It says, the tree grew up and became strong, and its top reached to heaven, and it was visible to the end of the whole earth. They say, aha, on a globe. If you have a giant tree grow up, no matter how tall it gets, half of the earth can't see it. It's on the other side of the earth. But if the earth is round and flat like this, then you can have a tree anywhere on the earth, and people can see this tree. Well, let's dig into this. This is not a standalone verse in chapter 4. It's actually part of an entire narrative and nicely encapsulated. The entire 4th chapter is a complete narrative of an event that happened to Daniel there in Babylon. And we can look at this. It says, the previous verse says this, the visions of my head as I lay in bed were these. I saw and behold a tree in the midst of the earth, and its height was great. This was Nebuchadnezzar talking, the king, and he was having a dream. Several points I want to make. It was a dream. I could have several verses listed there, verses 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 18, and 19. That many times it says it was a dream, it was a dream, it was a dream. I think we can be pretty certain it was a dream. What the current flat earth model, this is a diagram that I've seen on many of their websites. Again, you've got that circle disc there with a dome over top, and you've got the stars there. And what happens every day is that the stars, the whole sky spins around. You've got this axis right here above the North Pole, and the whole thing spins around. Now, right away, you'll realize that if it's all spinning around, then nothing is rising or setting. They're just going around. And if the sun is up there, then why don't we have daylight all the time? In fact, how can flat earthers explain day and night? Well, it's very simple, they say. You have the little dotted circle there representing the motion of the sun throughout the day. And the sun is a spotlight. It shines down a conical shape of light like this. And so when we're under that cone, we see daylight, and we're not, it's dark. So this is a little video that shows, illustrates this nicely. This came from a Flat Earth website. The little white thing over in the dark, that's the moon. The bright thing and the light, that yellow thing, that is the sun. As it goes around, And notice it's going to be night for me, then day, and then night, and then day, because I live in North America, and then night. And notice as it does that, the sun gets progressively closer and farther from my location. For right here, it will be very close. Here it will be far away. Here it will be close, and there it will be far away. So throughout the day, and throughout the night for that matter, the sun's getting progressively closer and farther away from me. If the sun's closer to me, it's going to appear larger to me. If it's farther away, it's going to appear smaller. That's pretty clear stuff. That's what we call perspective, folks. Flat earthers like to use that term. I hope they understand at least a little what that means. More distant objects look smaller to us. So I tested this claim. I tested this 3.5 years ago. I took a photograph of the sun at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time when the sun was 8 degrees above the horizon. And then I took another photograph of the sun at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That was local noon that day when the sun was as high in the sky as possible. And so I did the numbers on this. I determined from the figures I had that the sun ought to appear 6.4 times larger in the second photograph. I ask you, look at those two diagrams, those two figures. Are they the same size or not? This in itself disproves the flat earth model. Other examples of false claims. They say that the North Star is visible well into the southern hemisphere. I've been to the southern hemisphere 10 times, looked for the North Star. It isn't there. I could tell very easily, looking all night, the North Star is never going to be visible much south of the equator. Flat earthers stopped making that claim because it's blatantly false, as anybody who's been in the southern hemisphere can testify is the case. Another one is the circular patterns of stars throughout the night can happen only on a flat earth. I've seen both of these claims made repeatedly by flat earthers on the internet, and both are completely wrong and false. If you're going to position yourself on the earth, I can put a star there on that little circle. It goes from stars on the left to stars on the right. So if the dome is spinning around like this, then stars are going to go in a circle. Now, if you are on the axis of that circle, that is along that red line that passes down to the North Pole of the earth, then the path of the stars will look like this. It will look like a circle. But what happens if you get off that axis, say over to where I live in the United States, or maybe in South America or Australia? You're going to be viewing that circle obliquely like this. And when you view a circle obliquely like this, what shape do you have? You don't get a circle anymore, you get an ellipse. And the farther off you get, the more elliptical it looks. Only at the North Pole on the earth would you see stars going in circles around the skies. You would not see them. Ordinarily, you'd see them all doing this if the earth is flat with a spinning dome over top. But this is what you see. I took this photograph myself. It looks very much like the one Jim Bonser took. The same sort of thing. You're only seeing a half-hour exposure, but if you went completely through 24 hours, it'd be complete circles. There are no ellipses showing up here. How do flat earthers explain lunar eclipses? Well, they try to point out that lunar eclipses have been seen with both the sun and the moon in the sky. And that actually happens occasionally. It's called a selenelion. They try to impugn that this isn't possible. Well, it is possible because refraction can raise, if the sun and the moon are low in the sky, can raise them up about a half degree. But beyond that, that's atmospheric refraction. But the sun and the moon and the earth shadow are not points. They actually have a physical extent. Every lunar eclipse, there's a region on one side of the earth, a real thin strip, where the beginning of the eclipse is observable at sunset, and on the other side, where the end of the eclipse is observable at sunrise. It happens at every eclipse that this happens, lunar eclipse. You need excellent weather weather and you need no obstructions and a good clear view of the horizon in both directions. That's asking a lot. I've never seen a stellium. I'd love to see one, but I've just never had the opportunity. I've seen plenty of lunar eclipses. Now, notice, however, in all of this that flat earthers don't offer any positive explanation. They just simply try to chuck rocks at the conventional cosmology. Well, that's fine. You're wrong, but that's fine. Come up with your own explanation for lunar eclipses. What about solar eclipses? Well, they don't explain those either. They say something comes in front of the sun, but they don't ever seem to know what it is. They're just convinced that the conventional understanding is wrong. I get so tired of talking to flat earthers about this. I ask the question, what caused the lunar eclipse, and then what caused the solar eclipse? How far away is the sun? All these kind of questions. And the answers I get is, I don't know, but I know what it isn't. They define the world in a very weird way. They define the world in terms of what they don't believe or don't know, in terms of what they do believe or do know. It's a most strange way of looking at the world. They claim the moon is a transparent disk. You can see stars shining through it. Again, that is not true. I've watched a number of lunar occultations where the moon passes in front of a star, and when it does, the star disappears. You can't see it shining through. And they make that claim anyway. Again, that's another false claim that they make. I have a photograph here. This is the star Arcturus. I've got an arrow pointing to it. Hopefully you can see it on the video there. And there's the moon. It's the first quarter phase. And after about another 20 minutes, the moon moved forward. There's the rest of the moon, by the way, because it's half lit and half dark. And a little bit later on, it moved forward and it covered up Arcturus. Arcturus is not visible there. Excuse me, not Arcturus, Aldebaran. I misspoke. If the Earth is flat, then nothing can orbit the Earth. So there are no satellites, and the moon doesn't orbit either. It just goes in big circles. You can't break through the glass dome, so there's nothing there. There are no satellites. There are no astronauts, and we haven't been to the moon, except I know of at least 2 Christians who walked on the moon. Actually, they came to Christ later, but Charlie Duke and Jim Irwin. Jim Irwin is now deceased. But I contacted Charlie Duke a few years ago and I asked him, look, would you give me a quote on this? He said, sure, be happy to. He said, I was a lunar module pilot of the Apollo 16 mission to the moon. We launched from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida on April 16, 1972. We left Earth orbit for our 3-day trip to the moon about 3 hours later. As we maneuvered our spacecraft to dock with our lunar module, the Earth came into view about 20,000 miles away. It was an awesome sight. As you can see in the photo, the Earth is obviously a sphere and not a flat circle. As we journeyed to the moon, we could look out our windows and see a smaller Earth, and each time we would see different land masses, so it was obviously rotating on its axis. Charlie Duke, Christian astronaut. Or consider Jeffrey Williams. He's more recent. He spent a lot of time in the space shuttle, took a lot of photographs of the Earth from the space shuttle and space station, and he had a book called The Work of His Hands. I have a copy of that book. It's marvelous photography it has, and he has many pictures of the Earth, some of them showing clearly that the Earth is a globe. No tricks here, no fisheye lens. This is actually a picture. What is the motivation of the flat earthers? I think some are undoubtedly well-intentioned. They mean well, they really believe this, they're convinced of this, but they're just wrong. I think some are doing this as a prank, and they're literally having quite a bit of fun, quite a bit of amusement at the people who are taking this all too seriously when it really is just a prank. I'm also convinced that some out there are just doing this for malice. They're attempting to make Christians look foolish and to discredit Scripture, and the people who...
Oh, that was deep right there. That was very deep right there, what he was saying. But and he's telling the truth about that, because it was real what the flat Earth came around. But hey, he just telling the truth. That's 100% truth. What he's saying is right. At 9 o'clock, we're gonna take a music break, and then we're gonna talk about Marcus Garvey. We're gonna talk about him, because I had spoke the truth about flat Earth. I mean, this don't make any sense. You just got... I mean, this don't make any sense. You just got a lot of these people within on Black YouTube don't research about flat Earth. This don't make any sense. Damn, I only got like one person watching me. They probably watching the clouds. Hold on, let me see how many people I have. Yep, one person watching. I mean, this don't make any sense, brother. I'm just sick and tired of this shit. I mean, this don't make any sense. You just got a lot of people don't want to do research about the flat earth because the flat earth is real. And then I had to tell people like this, like, can y'all do research about the flat earth? Then you will talk about this. And then y'all gonna try to talk about, oh, I'm twisting my words. Okay, whatever. But this the thing with the flat earth. The flat earth is real, and the flat earth is the round earth, and etc. I mean, god damn, you never gonna talk about this. I'm like, damn, it's like these films don't want to hear nothing I to say. Like, wow. Also, third, I will not be going live on Thursdays, so it's just what it is. That's public announcement. I mean, this don't make any sense. You just got a lot of people out there don't never want to talk about the round earth. I'm like, oh, it's lightning people. Hold on, I'm gonna hurry up and do this live stream. Then I gotta. Hold on, I'm gonna get this show done, man. I mean, it just got so bad now that the flat earth was crumbling and wasn't round. It was crumbling. And then it got so bad now that nobody's not talk about the flat earth stuff. But I had talk about the round earth. Mafia, let me change the title. Hold on. It's the round earth. I mean, this don't make any sense. All right, 10-minute video. All right, people, music break. Damn. Hold on for a second. My stream. Hold on. I can't play nobody's stuff. Damn. Hold on, let me refresh this. Hold on, people. My stream got suspended. Stream suspended for policy violation. Damn it. Hold on. Stop presenting. Hold on. All right, people. I'm gonna have to end this. I'm gonna have to that's right, you can't play copyright stuff on her. Damn it. All right, hold on. I'm still live. Hold on. Stream suspended for policy violation. Oh, man. All right, we're back. We're back. Never mind. All right, music break. Music break.
Hey yo, we can't stop, won't stop, never intend to. They feel the style in Taiwan, they call it Jiu-Jitsu. Back to New York, all the shit that I've been through. Some niggas say they dogs, but to me they just shih tzus. I pencils down the thoughts and the issues, all the principles, how to keep it official. Cause you don't want no nigga have to grip that nistle. My fork, the pistol, turn dudes to fish food. These dudes want me looking all miserable, don't want me getting paper, go to Jacob to spin a few. But I be in them interviews talking how I spinning coops and how to tech a spin a nigga like an interlude. Fuck around, give you flats like an inner tube. Poke you up, just some of the shit I'm into. So fall back, maybe you could get a clear view. All my life and how I steer through my rear. They got me back on the block again, back with the rock again, watching for cops again, all about the profit. They got me back in this game again, but I swear we all gonna be alright. I'm back on the block again, back with the rock again, watching for cops again, all about the profit. They got me back in this game again, but I swear we all gonna be alright. Hey, yo, they said it can't be done, no one can do it. I'm straight off promo, right back to it, back to the booth where I gotta spit through it. It's money in them streets, I gotta go pursue it. I'm the truest, you know it. You know that knife produced it. Soon as Guru looping, the flow gets stupid. I'm sort of a live band, cause my sound is acoustic. They ain't biting the style, they wearing girdles to boost it. But they say I'm slipping, that ain't no new shit. Them numbers never lie, so you can't refute it. And don't confuse them with none of the bullshit. To the streets I'm tied, like my mama's tubes is. I couldn't fathom the sight of me losing. Any Malcolm X Boulevard, I'm about movement. I'm getting money, I don't need your 2 cents. The structure been built way before the blueprint. They got me back on the block again, back with the rock again, watching for cops again, all about the profit. They got me back in this game again, but I swear we all gonna be alright. I'm back on the block again, back with the rock again, watching for cops again, all about the profit. They got me back in this game again, but I swear we all gonna be alright. Yo, it's M to the EM, headed to the top with this. Says niggas on the rock that don't rock with this. Damn, that's the thanks I get when you know I'm the one that started all this fucking gangster shit. Wildin' out for no reason, smoking that reefer with your heater. Just me and Cheetah, tag teaming, beating the beat up, rocking the Caesar, pushing the 2-seater with divas. Niggas didn't believe us, now they hate when they see us. In the crib, got multiple features. Everybody got a car, dog, none of them lease. This a gift from God, I don't go to the preacher. I'm lost for years, you watch me, I'll teach ya. I just dropped made, I admit it was a sleeper. Everybody went out, copped it, now beating the streets up. Put it in my hood, in 2 weeks it heats up. Bleak done stepped up, but Jay will never leave us. Back on the block again, back with the rock again, watching for cops again, all about the profit. They got me back in this game again, but I swear we all gonna be alright. I'm back on the block again, back with the rock again, watching for cops again, all about the profit. They got me back in this game again, but I swear we all gonna be alright.
impoverished ghetto child, a yellow brick road is dim. The lights are blacked out and the chances are cut slim. The success rate never outweighs the opposite. Money, cash, hoes is something we gotta get. Boys learn how to be men from getting caught up, and grown women can't find time to raise daughters. So this is what happens when a girl is left out. A future princess forced to the next route. Her name was Heaven, beautiful from day one. An angel on earth if God ever made one. But she was born and raised in the pits of poverty. Cocaine deals, homicides, and robberies. Daddy walked out on Heaven before preschool. Mommy wasn't around to show her what the streets do. She was finding out what a bottle of Hennessy does, and hated her daughter for being prettier than she was. Seemed like Heaven knew anything but that. The older she got, the more hell would come back. By the time she was approaching 13, she knew how to lick them lips and work jeans. 18 came and went, and so did high school. She paid the bills by fucking with the right dudes, but she wasn't known for hoeing in the streets. Classy with hers, no ass, just hugs. Something like a female Mac, full blown. Never fall in love with him, you know the code. But all that changed when our eyes were placed upon Marcus. Neighborhood hustler, heartless. Grew up the same way Heaven did. Parents was deadbeats, so he felt Heaven was heaven sent. Started off slow, then it grew sky high. Ladies and gents, meet the new Bonnie and Clyde. They say true romance is hard to get to know, and the ones with it never really let it grow. But when it's hood, the real stick by one another, and you ride or die for your lover, and that's rare. The more time passed, the more they were together. They both found love, so they was down for whatever. He gave her quality time, she would hide as bricks. Soulmates, he called her his ride or die bitch. Needless to say, she dead at the blind dates. Marcus was still in the streets, but why wait? He took her out of her home, took her out of her hell. She said bye to Reebok, said hi to Chanel. Anything Heaven wanted, Marcus gave her, and she adored him, looked up to him like a savior. She would be his lookout when he was doing dirt. He gave her a 22, made her keep it in her purse. Showed her where the stash was under the mattress, and she would give him back rubs without him asking. He made her bag dues, flirt a little bit, go on dates while Marcus would stick up the crib. They was ruthless, but honestly, how could you blame them? They only had each other, nothing is what they came from. But the hood was hating. When they saw the money they was making, the cops were sent in to break them. Heaven got rid of the coke before they kicked in, so Marcus was only charged for breaking and entering. Judge hit him off with a mandatory 5. Small bid, but Heaven knows he couldn't do the time. For the first 2 weeks, Heaven fell apart. She ain't just lose a man, she lost her heart. And every week she was sending them letters and pictures. Slide through on the visit, give him weed, and she kissed him. 6 months passed and Marcus couldn't take it. Being in the box and stripping his heart naked. Fuck that, he wrote back in one of his letters, Daddy's coming home, I need a piece of heaven. They say true romance is hard to get to know, and the ones with it never really let it grow. But when it's hood, the real stick by one another, and you ride or die for your lover, and that's rare. On a late night, Marcus kidnapped one of the guards and snuck past the security margin. Dressed like a CO, he met Heaven in the next town with a rental car. But little did he know, word spread fast that an inmate dashed, and pigs from all over was plotting on his ass. Cop cars flying at 110 speed, tipped off by a gas station attendee. Shots start going off, aiming at the rental. Heaven at the wheel, and shit is getting suspenseful. One flew to the back, caught Marcus in the back and tapped the bone. He felt something crack. Heaven started crying and sweating all heavy, doubling the speed limit but holding it steady. Marcus told Shorty to drive to the crib. She thought he was crazy but still listened to her baby. Parked out front and dragged him up the stairs. Went inside and laid on the floor scared. The bullet still sitting there stuck in his spine. He whispered to his woman that he wanted to die. Now she getting hysterical, taking it hard. He said, before I go to jail, I'd rather die in your arms. She crawled to the mattress, pulled out the 9, kissed him goodbye and helped him close his eyes. With his lifeless frame laying there in her lap, her heart felt weak, her soul started to crack. She started hearing sirens, the D's was coming, but without her other half, she couldn't see running. Cops started kicking in the door, all reckless. She took a deep breath and reached for a weapon, put it in her mouth and ruined the cops' plans. Squeezed the trigger, she was back with a man in heaven.
They say money is the root of all evil. I say it's the root of all people.
Gangsta, whoa. Yeah, right. See me in these streets, go back and do it. We mainly focus on the old schools with big blocks. And I've been around the world in one day. I can speed it up or slow down, face the facts, baby. I got it locked like this and like that, baby. Something rap rock, baby. The last of a dime, reborn again. The vicious like Ulysses, born to win. The closure after the greatest hits is over. But I still ride for Prince like a soldier. The 2000 millennium comes since I'm the son of the father that makes me the dawn. The next up to bat, the Georgia Clary Cusio rap. And I ain't gotta walk around strapped. Jay don't tolerate the Mac 30s. You and our motherfucking way, we tryna stack 30s. Now back it up before we send something at you. You ain't planning to defend. Staying large as the Prince to the end, to the end. You're weak, cause I'm the biggest fish in the pond. And when I see the magic word, you're gone. Assassinator. People ain't stepping, eliminator, enemy with aggression, and sit back and smoke me one.
Because I think they don't truly understand me, you know. Can't change the world unless we change ourselves. Die from the sicknesses if we don't seek their health. All eyes be my witness when I speak was felt. Full house on my hands, the cards I was dealt. 3 Ks, 2 A's in America. I'm just a black space born out the nebula. And everything I do is say today that's worthwhile. With assurance by your action and your first child.
Yeah, what up my people, weeple? This beat the cow, the creeple. Shine up the desert eagle, light up that extra lethal. I mean that 3 years and 2 G's. I'm back with new trees. I rapped in loose leaves while y'all was just rapping. Who get the set cracking? Just like a neck snapping. Let's get this next platinum. What's happening, Def Jam? Remember Mac Man? I held your hand through them years when y'all was stressed, man.
This in the skirt, I'm past the motherfucker out here paying his dues. Not the average out here rapping claiming he true. I just stick to the script and take it in stride. Get my daily dose of game from James and take it and ride. Yes, yes, y'all. Funky fresher in the flesh, y'all. This time I'm aiming at the neck, dog. Assassinator. The people ain't stepping. Eliminator. Enemy with aggression. And sit back and smoke me one.
Everyday shit around the way shit got me stressed, so I keep on the vest in case a nigga wanna test. I got no time for games cause I'm all grown up. You wanna joke, nigga? Laugh when you get blown up. And see how funny it is when your kids ain't got no father. Cause you played it sweet, now you floating in the harbor. Shit is hectic, so respect it for your health. Didn't think it was right, you should've checked it yourself. Life is too short to get caught up in some dumb shit. Wake up one day, 40 years old, on some bum shit. Time flew by, you was too fly to see the light. Every day it's getting darker, then comes the night. Now what? Realize that you ain't got shit. Not long ago, you was the man on some hot shit. So just keep the flow, yo, cause you already in this. Make sure your shit is right, kid, and handle your business.
I'm past the motherfucker out here paying his dues. Not the average out here rapping claiming he true. I just stick to the script and take it in stride. Get my daily dose of game from James and take it and ride. Yes, yes, y'all. Funky fresher in the flesh, y'all. This time I'm aiming at the neck, dog. And when I see the magic word, you're gone. Assassinator. The people ain't stepping. Eliminator. Enemy with aggression. And sit back and smoke me one.
At the end of every day, no matter a black, white, or blue collar worker, we still share the same common social.
Gypsies, preachers, choirs, churches, liquor store. The world is full of liars, curses. People rich and poor without God to worship. See, we would be more lost. Gotta believe it's something or there will be no loss. A ghetto child occasionally blunted in mansions. My cup overflowing with crystal, 100 exotic dances. Niggas is plastic, askers, jealous and passive. Fuck blast that, cowards, leeches and rappers. Niggas I fuck with is Braveheart, make G's. Before rap music to me was wind blowing the trees, braves chirping, rain falling perfect and free. But bitches saw my video and think they know me.
Need a couple friends and I need a couple G's. Getting off the grid, I just need a couple days. Come to getting money, no, I need a couple ways. I feel a new strain, so I need a new strain. Need a couple friends and I need a couple J's. Getting off the grid, I just need a couple days. Come to getting money, no, I need a couple ways. I feel a new strain, so I need a new strain.
There's no rewards at the end of this journey. The more could burn me. Still on board, I appalled my attorneys behind the wall. Falling off or installed on the creeks. The Ducker Moore was my only true call of concern and succeeded. Seeing the devious deleted off streets. New offenders getting sentenced, niggas beat and weak. How could he sleep? We were schooled, that's the cousin of death. Slug to the chest, saw the live is left, frontin' for less, never impressed. Stay smiling cause I come from the wildin'. Them projects I call home was like them domes on the island, forever styling. That was me in them army fatigues. I'm the one, if you wasn't welcome, ask you calmly to leave. My honor and thieves, I seen it. In these streets gotta move like you mean it. Cause death never come when convenient, it gets you. And when it hits you, either heaven or waste, or the gates of hellfire scorch you straight to your fate.
Need a couple friends and I need a couple J's. Getting off the grid, I just need a couple days. Come to getting money, no, I need a couple ways. I feel a new strain, so I need a new strain. Need a couple friends and I need a couple J's. Getting off the grid, I just need a couple days. Come to getting money, no, I need a couple ways. I feel a new strain, so I need a new strain.
Nah, come on, B, who'd have thought I'd make it? When cops used to strip us naked. Now they got the name on the street sign and may be famous. And fuck boys can't help but hate it. But I know Pun loves it. Just caught a lick last week and I know he was above it. Blessing from the sky and the nigga just recovered. Long nights it lived, rubbing in my ears. We float through the kitchen. $1 million deals while you focus on the bitches. Signing big contracts on the backs of strippers. It ain't a fluke, it's been tried, I'm the proof. Just turn out the lights from the world-class wrecking crew. I'm back at it, back mules and back alleys. Back at it, serving them is a bad habit. Maybe I've been watching too much Narcos. Cause lately I've been feeling like I'm Pablo.
Need a couple friends and I need a couple J's. Getting off the grid, I just need a couple days. Come to getting money, no, I need a couple ways. I feel a new strain, so I need a new strain. Need a couple friends and I need a couple J's. Getting off the grid, I just need a couple days. Come to getting money, no, I need a couple ways. I feel a new strain, so I need a new strain.
I put it in the air, blow it, I don't throw it. I'm from where, if you really got it, you don't show it. Spoken word or either the dope poet. And even if you know, if they ask you, you don't know it. See me, I'm from the put in work era. I was sliding way before the serve and perk era. All you gotta do is hit the switch and it work better. They say when you get right up on them, it hurt better. I ain't gotta up it, cause I don't ever tuck it. So any funny moves in this bitch, I'ma buck it. Real niggas in the room, that's who I'ma fuck with. That's why I'm probably stuck with what I'm stuck with. All I know is shit is real, it be hard to focus. Niggas that know everything always be the brokest. It's crazy how you get rich off one dope flip. But say a prayer for me, I'm feeling hopeless.
Need a couple friends and I need a couple J's.
Yo, I don't wanna live like this, I'm done with it. Niggas going to jail or they dying too young with it. Supreme fanny pack, gotta carry it done in it. At least we was getting money, having some fun with it. Businessman, try not to riddle no middle niggas. Talk face to face on the phone, you riddle niggas. Before you give them anything, make sure you drill them niggas. Left the block, had to pass it down to my little niggas. Used to be more sneakers and more. Now I'm buying buildings and looking for storefronts. Lease $250,000, that's like every 4 months. High nigga in the game, I ain't even scored once. Yeah, it's the dedication and discipline. Never do more talking than listening. Never let nobody tell you they gon' fit you in. Fuck it, get out of there and get rich again.
Fuck you, I think they mad cause I'm in my zone.
He gon' let it go if I tell him to, I wanna know.
They rolling on, I got 100 bitches at my table. I see you niggas hating. Nigga, fuck you. I think they mad cause I'm in my zone.
He gon' let it go if I tell him to, I wanna know.
They rodeo, I got 100 bitches at my table. I see you niggas hate. Nigga, fuck
I
you.
lived in the residence on 161, after Club 69. Niggas had to get they. If you fucked in the parking lot, there was a hit and run. Till the boys came, this shit was fun. Yeah, it was. Man, I can't even falter. And while leader on cause, I never see an altar. You know who I am, Cam, aka Culture. Saturday Night Fever, but the revolver's on Travolta. I grew up with the snake rats and vultures. How you hate on me and murder, nigga, just applaud us. Everywhere I went, I made Harlem look gorgeous. Pull up on these diamonds, Mortal Kombat, flawless. And my suits, they like 8 times your mortgage. Emmys on the way, 40 seconds on the Forbes list. On my block, you had to rumble, couldn't fumble missions. Flash screens, now I had antennas on the television. Shit.
Nigga, fuck you. I think they mad cause I'm in my zone.
He gon' let it go if I tell him to, I wanna know.
They rodeo, I got 100 bitches at my table. I see you niggas hate. Nigga, fuck you. I think they mad cause I'm in my zone.
He gon' let it go if I tell him to, I wanna know.
They rodeo, I got 100 bitches at my table. I see you niggas hate. Nigga, fuck you.
Run the streets until it's dark, call it catastatic. Till you run into my dog, call it paramedic. Before you ever get the ball, boy, you got it dead. You can't go against the laws, not in Kansas City. Lamborghini, I let the doors up. I'm in the street selling 20 million on the tour bus. To keep it G, just ignore the money. The currency, cause it leads to everything your mama never wanted. I thank the Lord I wake up every morning. Cause he sees how I think I pray, give me everything I wanted. 100 shots that's in his medal on me. And I'm a blessed nigga with it. Any nigga thought he ever wanted.
Fuck you. I think they mad cause I'm in my zone.
He gon' let it go if I tell him to, I wanna know.
They rodeo, I got 100 bitches at my table. I see you niggas hate. Nigga, fuck you. I think they mad cause I'm in my zone.
He gon' let it go if I tell him to, I wanna know.
They rodeo, I got 100 bitches at my table. I see you niggas hate. Nigga, fuck you.
Caterpillar metamorphosis to bigger nigga. Lantern in his hand, headless horseman to the rhythm. Been successful for so long, I can no longer feel it. Taking finger pricking, mob initiating members. I'm far beyond the dawn, my title ain't even listed. Federales listen, only hear me chewing, sipping. Dancing with a doll, prom night with Cinderella. Then we dipping the Ferrari flies, Tom Selleck. Vocals on Tony Bennett, I'm only in it to later see people I taught tell me, yo, we did it. I led a revolution in the world of tech and music. Free the homie, did his time and paid the restitution. Time go quick, better have all your goals set. You getting yours or just hanging on like an old dick. I can talk about money, we ain't the same, son. Still different when you came from where I came from.
Fuck you. I think they mad cause I'm in my zone.
He gon' let it go if I tell him to, I wanna know.
They rodeo, I got 100 bitches at my table. I see you niggas hate. Nigga, fuck you. I think they mad cause I'm in my zone.
He gon' let
Never king for love, all I bring. This a love.
Don't make me love the arts with my money again. Alright, that's how we friendship
Now bougie bitch dialing me just for my salary. Move weight like calorie, fashion fatality. Roof like the galaxy, like I'm out of space. Bitch, you not the best, it's no nigga I chase. Before I met Puff, I was a black pack rapper. Stuff my Louis with millions, I'm a rat pack rapper. Lynch me and Da Vinci, double sharp head, Italian sub. I'm about the large bread, think bloods in the rape where the cold car red. Never said I was dope, that's what an art said. There you have it, I'm finally said it. I'm apologetic, cash no credit. Get it? Niggas only die when I let it. Pellets, put little
You are dead,
The industry.
You can learn, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna be the greatest. Someone could teach you all the things you need to know, but it's the individual. It's that individual, what he wants.
Yeah.
how determined is he to take what he's learned and use it? You know, it's not what you're being taught, it's not who the teacher is all the time, it's the student, it's what's he made of.
Yeah. Nas.
I'm in the kitchen trying to whip me up a gourmet pie. Fentanyl, the more they die, the more they buy. Soon as they lower the casket, the more they cry. That's the more they hurt when they pour that dirt. Did you love them or what? Cause when they cover them up, they ain't bringing them back. That's the meaning of that. Y'all was fucking them bitches and y'all was slinging them packs. Y'all was loading them ships and y'all was cleaning them big. We was doing it big, they was doing it small. They was wearing the same shit, we would ruin them all. They would catch a couple events, we was doing it all. We was conquering land, we was moving the soil. Yeah, everything solid, big bags monthly, gripped up crazy, even out the country. 100% wound proof. Now I'm in the back of the back, blowing smoke about the
Bands and houses. Joey better big plane, man, be the supreme team.
Joey got that big print, came to collect the
That makes some chains holding the pieces. Sipping the best champagne, never the leases. G-shit,
Joey got that big print, came to collect the grain. Know what I mean?
Yeah. Nas. Yo. Gypsies, preachers, choirs, churches, liquor store. The world is full of liars, curses. People rich and poor without God to worship. See, we would be more lost. Gotta believe it's something, or there will be no loss. A ghetto child occasionally blunted in mansions. My cup overflowed with crystal, 100 exotic dances. Niggas is plastic, askers, jealous and passive. Niggas is fuck that, cowards, leeches and rappers. Niggas I fuck with is Braveheart, make G's. Before rap music to me was wind, the trees, birds chirping, rain falling perfect and free. But bitches saw my video and think they know me. These niggas bad talking, claiming they gon' do me. Stay out my path, homie, fucking with a true G. Bitch, you don't know me.
bands and houses.
Joey better big plane, man, be the supreme team.
Joey got that big print, came to collect the
That makes some chains holding the pieces. Sipping the best champagne, never the leases. G-shit,
Joey got that big print, came to collect the grain. Know what I mean?
43 inside the stash, pop the stizzy, hop out with it and sign an autograph. Times change, I used to read and break apart a half. I never knew I needed accountants to do all this math. Blanco pop got me higher than my bills on a monthly. Ain't trying to buy the drink, when the seal right in front. Independent ballin', selling out these shows out the country. Suckers talking down cause they wash, fully fold them like laundry. Feel like a microdose, scriptures in my raps, this my Bible open. Wish I fall off on my rivals, hoping. See me on the upswing, I'm hustling. 6-figure deal conducting. The plush bends on murder be the code, it's a trust thing. With some relatives that don't relate to loyalty. Liquor in my body, kill the pain, but it might poison. I broke bread when they was starving, they got up and then avoided. Now let it sold up like embroidery, they plotting on destroying me, it's nasty.
Pussy niggas hold that.
bands and houses.
Joey better big plane, man, be the supreme team.
Joey got that big print, came to collect the
That
grain.
makes some chains holding the pieces. Sipping the best champagne, never the leases. G-shit.
Okay, we're back now. Damn, they didn't. Damn. Now I have to edit the video out. Shit. Now let's talk about Marcus Garvey, shall we? Let's do a video about him. Okay. Hopefully they don't knock the stream out. And he was the leader of the Black nationalists too. He was a Black nationalist and the Black Africa people. So we're gonna do a screen share about this. Here we go. Here we go.
Marcus Garvey, a Black nationalist.
He's a Black nationalist, the leader
and leader of the Pan-Africanism
and the Pan-Africanism. I'm sorry, Pan-Africanism. I'm sorry.
Movement in the early
Excuse me, I was stuttering.
1900s once said, "In death, I shall be a terror to the foes of Negro liberty." Elements of Garvey's beliefs and activism, which
And also, he was the most dangerous man ever, too. So let's keep on going.
Were embraced by millions of followers, were absorbed by several black activist groups and movements, such as the Black Panther Party, Rastafarians, and the Nation of Islam, among others. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who was born in Jamaica in 1887, grew up reading the books of his father's library. He left Jamaica at the age of 23 and traveled through Central and South America, working as a newspaper reporter and editor. In 1912, he moved to London and studied law at Birkbeck College. He also worked for a Pan-Africanism newspaper and led debates at the famed Speaker's Corner at Hyde Park. He toured other European cities, including Paris, Madrid, Bologna, and Monte Carlo. He returned to Jamaica in 1914. Inspired by American educator and orator Booker T. Washington's autobiography, Up From Slavery, Garvey founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, or UNIA. The UNIA promoted black economic empowerment, political equality, and the eventual liberation of Africa from European colonialism by way of a black army. In 1916, Garvey moved to the United States. He settled in New York City and started a UNIA branch in Harlem. He quickly gained a large following, and so did the UNIA, especially after the Red Summer of 1919, one of the deadliest eras of race riots and lynchings in the United States. White mob violence resulted in the killing of hundreds of black men, women, and children. Black World War I veterans who endured violence and bigotry that year after returning home from Europe were a large, receptive audience for the UNIA. The organization grew to 700 branches with more than 2 million members worldwide. Garvey and his associates held a large UNIA convention in Madison Square Garden, where they introduced the world to the Pan-African flag. Red stood for the blood shed by Africans. Black represented the people of African descent. And green stood for Africa's natural fertility and growth. Garvey also launched the Negro Factories Corporation and opened a chain of restaurants and hotels, urging Africans to buy black. His newspaper, Negro World, had a circulation of more than 200,000 on 4 continents and was published in English, Spanish, and French. He and his associates also established the Black Star Line Steamship Company. The BSL purchased 3 ships in hopes of beginning an African redemption program to Liberia. They wanted to establish a nation in the West African country for those who were born into slavery or were the descendants of enslaved people. But many believe Garvey's downfall began when he decided to meet with the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, Edward Young Clark, in 1922. Garvey actually shared the segregationist views of the Klan, as he sought a separate state for those of the African diaspora. He actually said, quote, "I regard the Klan, the Anglo-Saxon clubs, and white American societies as far as the Negro is concerned, as better friends of the race than all other groups of hypocritical whites put together." Other black civil rights activists were outraged. W.E.B. Du Bois said Garvey was, quote, "the most dangerous enemy of the Negro race in America and in the world." The newly formed Bureau of Investigation, led by J. Edgar Hoover, later becoming the FBI, sent an undercover black agent to the UNIA to take Garvey down. Garvey was detained on mail fraud charges for selling stocks in a ship that the BSL hadn't purchased yet. He was imprisoned in 1925 and sentenced to a maximum of 5 years at the federal penitentiary in Atlanta. Garvey's talks with the Liberian government to grant land for his Back to Africa program fell through. No BSL vessel ever reached the African continent. After 2 years in prison, Garvey was granted an early pardon by President Calvin Coolidge and was deported back to Jamaica in 1927. In Jamaica, he established the nation's first modern political organization, the People's Political Party, focusing on workers' rights and the poor. Garvey returned to London in 1935, where he lived and worked until he died from complications brought on by 2 strokes at age 52. His body was later exhumed and buried beneath the Marcus Garvey Memorial at National Heroes Park in Kingston as Jamaica's first national hero.
did not suffer and die to give me an education to slight, oppress, or discourage my people. Because whatsoever education I acquired out of their sacrifice of over 300 years, I shall use for the salvation of... When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black, and the green. May I say something to you to give you a true knowledge of yourself and life, so that the same glory and success attained by other men who understand themselves may be yours. Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. This faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man in lacking the knowledge that man is used to beautify the world and produce all that he needs for his happiness and civilization. Look the world over and watch yourself and the understanding to his needs and to his satisfaction. It is but...
Oh, no. Hold on. Here we go.
Fellow citizens of Africa, I greet you in the name of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League of the World. You may ask, what organization is that? It is for me to inform you that the Universal Negro Improvement Association is an organization that seeks to unite into one solid body the 400 million Negroes of the world, to link up the 15 million Negroes of the United States of America with the 20 million Negroes of the West Indies, the 40 million Negroes of South and Central America, with the 280 million Negroes of Africa, for the purpose of bettering our industrial, commercial, educational, social, and political conditions. As you are aware, the world in which we live today is divided into separate race groups and distinct nationalities. Each race and each nationality is endeavoring to work out its own destiny to the exclusion of other races and other nationalities. We hear the cry of England for the Englishman, of France for the Frenchman, of Germany for the German, of Ireland for the Irish, of Palestine for the Jew, of Japan for the Japanese, of China for the Chinese. We of the Universal Negro Improvement Association are raising the cry of Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. There are 400 million Africans in the world who have Negro blood coursing through their veins. And we believe that the time has come to unite these 400 million people for the one common purpose of bettering their conditions. The great problem of the Negro for the last 500 years has been that of disunity. No one or no organization ever succeeded in uniting the Negro race. But within the last 4 years, the Universal Negro Improvement Association has worked wonders in bringing together in one fold 4 million organized Negroes who are scattered in all parts of the world, being in the 48 states of the American Union, all the West Indian Islands, and the countries of South and Central America and Africa. These 4 million people are working to convert the rest of the 400 million scattered all over the world, and it is for this purpose that we are asking you to join our ranks and to do the best you can to help us to bring about an emancipated race. If anything praiseworthy is to be done, it must be done through unity. And it is for that reason that the Universal Negro Improvement Association calls upon every Negro in the United States to rally to its standards. We want to unite the Negro race in this country. We want every Negro to work for one common object, that of building a nation of his own on the great continent of Africa. That all Negroes all over the world are working for the establishment of a government in Africa means that it will be realized in another few years. We want the moral and financial support of every Negro to make the dream a possibility. Already, this organization has established itself in Nigeria, West Africa, and is endeavoring to do all possible to develop that Negro country to become a great industrial and commercial commonwealth. Pioneers have been sent by this organization to Nigeria, and they are now laying the foundations upon which the 400 million Negroes of the world will build. If you believe that the Negro has a soul, if you believe that the Negro is a man, If you believe the Negro was endowed with the senses commonly given to other men by the Creator, then you must acknowledge that what other men have done, Negroes can do. We want to build up cities, nations, governments, industries of our own in Africa, so that we'll be able to have a chance to rise from the lowest to the highest positions in the African Commonwealth.
The black and the green around me, for in the new life I shall rise.
Okay. Because he was a black nationalist person. He had a strong voice for the black people. He was a black African person, and he had some good issues that can help for the black community. And he had a black African flag. Now, okay, here we go.
Marcus Garvey wanted to return African Americans to Africa, to create a vibrant black nation, empowered through economic independence. Although some of his goals were controversial, his crusade would inspire leaders from Malcolm X to Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela.
Garvey was certainly a controversial figure, but the concepts that we now think of as black nationalism and black pride started with Garvey's pronouncements.
Marcus Mosiah Garvey was born in St. Ann's Bay, Jamaica, on August 17, 1887. Beginning as a printer's apprentice at 14, Garvey became a union or...
Hold on. We're going to talk about a little bit of Marcus Garvey, okay? Then... Never mind. Hold on, let me do this. Flag. But Marcus Garvey had a good leader about the Black Panther Party movement, and then we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a live stream about the Black African flag. Here we go. Come on, let's see. This is an Africa American flag, because that represents the Pan-African people, and we're gonna have to educate about the Pan-African flag. My friend, hold on, let me change the title. Pan-African flag. We're gonna talk about that because that's a black nationalist flag. I did a lot of research about the and then I mean, it was just real back in the 90s where I heard stories about it, about the Pan-African flag, because they represent the flag movement and the Black African stuff, and then I had to tell people the Pan-African people had raised the flag. But I had did a lot of research about the Pan-African flag, which I want to see if they want to call me out to retards, because I'm doing research about the flag, talking about I ain't always there. I'm not wrapped too tight. I have mental problems and all this stuff. Okay. I'm doing research of it. So let's go ahead and play this video. Here we go.
Hello, welcome back to Watch.
Oh no, hold on. Wrong one.
It's here on. I'm really bubbling out of my skin to be here on black-owned lands, black-owned soil. But it's just so amazing, right? On Juneteenth weekend to kick it off with something so exciting and representation of the largest act of group economics by a black-owned organization ever practiced in American history was the Tulsa Real Estate Fund.
Yes, yes. Talk about it.
I'm going to just repeat that for all that. We're going to run it back. No matter how they want to spin it, no matter how they want to try to cloud it, no matter how they want to try to dilute it, the facts on facts in real life is the largest act of equitable group economics that was ever practiced by a black organization in the history of North America was the Tulsa Real Estate Fund.
Treff Live!
Treff Live!
Treff Live!
And the Black House is an epitome of our movement. It's the epicenter. And we're talking about 2.6 acres of land, a 30,000 square foot Class A office space, owned free and clear, no debt, no mortgage, right? Talking about freedom, free of debt, on this free Liberation Juneteenth weekend.
We do what we want on this land.
Right, it's our land. And so, and we represent all 15,000 plus families that participated in the vision to practice group economics, inspired by one of our most courageous, progressive heroes and forefathers, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And Marcus Garvey and the UNIA, they gave us, he said, listen, we don't have a flag of our own. We're not going to look to someone else to hand it to us. We don't have a claimed nationality of our own. We're not going to look to someone else to say who you are. They first said we were niggers, then said we were colored, then said we were Negroes, and then Afro-Americans, then African-Americans, and whatever else they want to spin, but self-determination is about us claiming for ourselves what we want. That's true freedom. Freedom is not you being what somebody else says you are, pledging to a flag they say you should pledge to. That's being a subject. That's not freedom. Freedom is about, self-determination is about, true equality is about, you have yours and we have ours. That's equality, equal. You have your table, we have our table. We respect our tables, and we do business and civilization together as two equal parts at our own tables in our own room. Yes. And so for years we grew up in school pledging to the American flag, and many of us didn't even know anything about the Pan-African flag. I was awakened to it in 2015 and understood the true history of what it is. And so at this moment in time, we have the glorious and gracious opportunity to raise the Pan-African flag, the red, black, and green, given to us by our forefather, to represent on this lawn black freedom, black unity, black love, the sacrifice, the blood, black liberation. And so without further ado, we're going to raise the flag. Think about all our history. Think about all the music we've seen, the rappers we've seen, the stories we've seen, everything. This is probably the first time that many of us have seen our flag raised on our own campus, right, in real life. We've seen it everywhere else in hotels. You see the Italian flag and this flag and that flag on everybody's lawns. Well, we're doing it for the culture today. All right, so on the count of three, y'all count us off.
1, 2, 3.
In this book, I wrote an ode. Again, whatever we don't have, if we don't control it or we don't create it, it doesn't exist. If we don't have our own financial institutions, they don't exist unless we do it. Even prayer without works is dead. And so when I thought about honoring our flag, one day I was asleep on a plane on the way to, I believe, Nashville, Tennessee. And out of my sleep on a plane, I just wrote this poem almost. But it's a pledge to this flag. I want you all to repeat after me with enthusiasm, please. This is the pledge of allegiance to the African flag, the Pan-African flag. So you repeat after me. I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance.
To the African flag.
To the African flag.
Which represents black unity.
Which represents black unity.
Black love.
Black love.
And black liberation.
And black liberation.
All that stuff is dead, man. After the welfare and food stamp came in. So.
Black for the people.
Black for the people.
In which I'm proud to be a part.
In which I'm proud to be a part.
Red for the love of my people.
Red for the love of my people.
With my entire heart.
With my entire heart.
And green for black liberation.
And green for black liberation.
Once and for all.
Once and for all.
We will be free. Spiritually. Emotionally. And economically.
Yeah. Okay. And here go the original, the Pan-African flag. Here we go.
When looking at the official flags of African nations, there seems to be a common trend, and this is not a coincidence. Many African countries use the elements of the Pan-African flag, which has two different color sets. The first set is green, gold, and red, and the other set is red, black, and green. The first color set mentioned is influenced by the Ethiopian flag. Ethiopia, also known as Abyssinia, was one of 3 African nations to survive the scramble for Africa. A year after defeating the Italians in the First Italo-Ethiopian War, Abyssinia's emperor, Menelik II, ordered this color scheme to be used in their flag. Each of these colors have their own specific meaning. Green represents the richness and the fertility of our land as well as hope. The gold represents religious freedom and peace. And the red represents the sacrifice of our fathers who spilled their blood in defense of Ethiopia. As decades passed, many newly independent countries began to use these colors out of admiration for Ethiopia, the first being Ghana in 1957, followed by many other countries. The second color set that contained the colors red, black, and green were not a creation made by Africans, but rather by African Americans in the United States. This flag was created by the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, but we will just call them UNIA to make things easier. The UNIA created this flag in response to the popular coon song, "Every race has a flag but the coon." And yes, coon music is a genre, and that was a real song. Much like the other color set, each of the colors have their own specific meaning. Red represents the blood that unites all the people of black ancestry and the shed for liberation. And black represents black people whose existence as a nation, though not a nation state, is affirmed by the existence of the flag. And green represents the abundant natural wealth of Africa. This color set has also appeared to be the theme of many African nations' flags, along with some Caribbean nation flags. In some cases, these color sets become blended together, like the Jamaican and the South African flag. The Pan-African flag is just one instance where countries have influenced each other's flags and even culture. This can also be seen through the Pan-Slavic flag, the Pan-Arabic flag, and the Nordic Cross. A country's flag could be quite telling of its history and cultural values. That is it for today's video. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to subscribe to see more videos like this one. And I hope to see you all in the next chapter.
Now this year, we're celebrating 50 years of the African Union, set up.
When looking at the
I mean, they had the Pan-African colors and different colors of Pan-African. Then they had discussed about the issues within the black community, but all that shit is all dead and gone because you got these so-called fake Pan-African people don't want to discuss about things that can help the black community, and then you wonder why I said this before, man. Forget this. Shit. That's exactly why I said this before. That Pan-African stuff is all dead. Because of Dr. Umar Johnson, he's not doing nothing for the black community. Like, he's not helping the black community. He's not helping folks. And that's exactly why I said this for. That Pan-African shit, it's all dead and gone. That Pan-African stuff is going on because That shit is all dead, bro. It's like, I mean, it just got so bad now that that Pan-African stuff is just all dead now. They talk all that Pan-African stuff, but they're not doing nothing for the black community but scamming black people off their money. And then I have to sell their, like, you know what? I'm not with that Pan-African shit. You know what? It's Pan-African stuff, but I don't see no Pan-African flag in my area in Tennessee. All right, Marcus Garvey and Pan-African flag. Okay. But Marcus Garvey had this more things for the black community, and he's a black nationalist and a Black Panther person. And the Pan-African flags, they had different types of flags because they never talk about this on YouTube when I Googled it up. So I mean, boy, I tell you, man. I mean, Jesus, man. And then they don't want to talk about the shit about the Pan-African stuff. Hold on, let me go look up Pan-African again. Pan-Africa. And here go the last video right here. I'm telling you, bro, I can do like hundreds of videos like this, but you never gonna talk about this. Here we go.
Brothers, sisters, countrymen, you better get on board.
Fellow citizens of Africa, I greet you in the name of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League of the World. You may ask, what organization is that? It is for me to inform you that the Universal Negro Improvement Association is an organization that seeks to unite into one solid body the 400 million Negroes of the world. And we believe that the time has come to unite these 400 million people for the one common purpose of bettering their condition. And it is for this purpose that we are asking you to join our ranks and to do the best you can to help us to bring about an emancipated race.
One of the key problems, and it came out in the 5th Pan-African Congress, that we had to rediscover ourselves, find out who we are, what we are, and not who we are told we are. It wasn't until then, that Pan-African Congress, that I saw the way ahead clearly and knew one day all of Africa would be free.
The Congress is the dress rehearsal or the forum in which the leaders of post-colonial Africa make their debut.
Kwame Nkrumah, who went on to become the president of Ghana, Jomo Kenyatta, who became the leader of Kenya, Hastings Banda, who headed an independent Malawi after Nyasaland became independent.
Dr. Nkrumah went out his way to make the Gold Coast what it is today. He endeavored continually to bring us freedom and liberty to Ghana, Ghana is the name, Ghana. We wish to proclaim, we will be jolly, merry and gay.
The most striking of all the impressions that I've formed since I left London a month ago is of the strength of this African national consciousness.
When do you want independence for Kenya?
Today.
How soon do you foresee independence in Northern Rhodesia?
Things are moving so fast in Africa that anything between 1 and 2 years.
The issue is political, not social or economic.
The wind of change is blowing through this continent. And whether we like it or not, this growth of national consciousness is a political fact. And we must all accept it as a fact. And our national policies must take account of it.
There's so much history here in the city of Scranton, and I just am so dedicated to sharing it with you all, especially that has to do here at the steps of City Hall. Lift every voice and sing until earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty.
The road is long. The process on some of this stuff that we need to do is not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. We've been talking about this on the different calls and the things that we've been doing. There are things that we want to do today, but we can't do them quite yet. We will do that though. We'll do the hard work. We'll do it together, and we'll bring everyone in Scranton along with us.
We are at a moment where we're suffering through that crisis of the virus and the pandemic, the worst public health crisis in a century, in a jobs and economic crisis. And as bad as it's been for Americans and Pennsylvanians overall, Black Americans and communities of color have suffered disproportionately.
There's a lot of people here in this community that feel left behind and that have felt left behind. And I think this year is the first time that people are really feeling seen and are really feeling heard. There's still so much work to do.
Everyone who's here today, we're all in the same fight. And we stand here today to continue our synergy together. Umoja.
Happy Black History Month!
Happy Black History Month!
Happy Black History Month!
Happy Black History Month!
Yes!
As a Nigerian American who immigrated to the United States at the age of 10, I have grown to learn the value of community and support, especially after moving to a different community and personally witnessing the work being done in the Scranton area. I can say that I've made this my home.
And as important as it is to live in our present, we must acknowledge and appreciate those who came before us and paved the path for us.
St. Louis officials today raised the red, black, and green flag at City Hall, recognizing the start of Black History Month. St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones says teaching Black history is important because it is American history.
And right now we have politicians in Jefferson City who, and other places around our country who don't want Black history to be told, and especially to be told the truth. You know, our country, with all of its flaws, we need to make sure that we're telling the true story and trust our children to ask the right questions, or ask questions, period. Because if they don't know their past, they won't become well-rounded adults.
Every year, Black History Month has a theme, and this year's theme is Black Resistance.
There's so much history here.
All right, last video right here.
Me make a flag? Okay. The only rule that I kind of set for myself was to create something that was kind of visually engaging enough to create a question, or to at least just start off the question of why. I was beginning to develop a new artwork called Relic Traveller, which imagines a future version of a Pan-African Union, which essentially looked at ideas that surround lost testimony within a moment of fallen empire, in this case the British Empire, a kind of like almost like memoir type fashion of people's experience of living and being a part of the diaspora, or the experiences of being a person of colour and living in the UK. Working from Somerset House Studios, I was jotting down and designing what I was hoping to kind of create as like flags or patches. I was thinking a lot about these designs and how I might use them in the video work, but then I was kind of approached with this possibility of creating something that would be hoisted up on top of the building. The conversation with Somerset House kind of came at a really great kind of chance moment. How better to kind of start this conversation, even without the video work being completed? You know, how do we deal with these remnants or aspects of symbolism on a grand scale? My hope was to focus on a design or set of colours that looked at Pan-Africanism, the context of Africa in that sense of prosperity, resources, the people, plant life and nature, and how that becomes a part of an ecosystem. I thought a lot about the use of black stars, this idea of using stars as responding to the nations as we know it. So there are 54 currently known African nations, as it were, and how that might become part of a formation, and thinking about movements, ascension, and how that can play a positive role within an image that of course is being held on quite a high platform. For me, I guess the challenge there was to create something that rose out of this idea of flags that have been used or co-opted or associated not just with Brexit, but colonial history. So if we're thinking about the St. George's flag or the Union Jack, imagery that is very synonymous with a colonial past. My approach is really not to try to even subvert or even invert any of those colours. In fact, to kind of go beyond that, to create something new and to have a conversation around migration, bringing forth the communities that have been here for a very long time. How do we include that within such a monumental scale? How do we use that as a gesture? By creating a work that stands out so openly in the public, it kind of no longer becomes mine and belongs more to the people who walking around the Strand or Waterloo Bridge day by day. All that I really want from this is for conversations to happen, and I think that
here we go.
Melvin Charles and Gleason T. Jackson designed a symbol to represent the history, pride, and accomplishments of African Americans in response to the struggles of 1960s America. Charles tells his story about the creation of the Black American Heritage Flag.
I think one of the interesting points about the creation of the flag in the mind is that it was in both our minds for a long time. Even as a child at 3 years old, I would go and sit on the curb in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and watch the parade go by. I see the American flag, and I see the flag that represents Italian, Spanish, whatever it might be, and they would march up and down the street, honoring the 30th of May. And then when it came time for the Negro, at that time we were called. I remember every year we would march down, and guess what? All we had was the American flag. And I went home to my mother, and I remember asking her, and I think I couldn't have been no more than 5 or 6 at that point. I said, Mommy, why don't we have a flag? But every once in a while, it would creep into my mind. Until one day, when this gentleman by the name of Gleason T. Jackson, a neighbor of mine, sat down with me and started talking about the idea of something we could do in the 60s about trying to make progress for our race of people. And then he mentioned the word of a flag. I said, if you're willing to try, I'm willing to be there with you. I have great thoughts about it. I think it will take some time, but I want to design a flag. And that's when we started. The next process was for us to be able to get together, to sit down and talk about what we wanted to put in the flag. But after about 2.5 weeks, we came up with this idea to make a flag that had diagonal stripes of red and black, and to have a fig wreath circled in the center of it, and a blunted sword. And of course, we had to recognize that each item, we had to have some sort of explanation. And then when we looked at the blunted sword, we thought of the feeling of having pride, and also knowing that when you have a blunted sword, when you blunt it, you learn to curdle the earth. And then we thought about the wreath, which we also had in the color gold, that would be for peace, prosperity, and everlasting life. And the red would be for the rich blood we've shed for freedom, justice, and human dignity. And the color black was for the pride in our pigmentation. The inspiration basically came from us sitting down, not only sitting down and talking about it, but I would go to the library, he would go to the library. We'd both go. And we sat down and looked at all the different items. There's a thought pattern that we put into it. I mean, I think about, it was a piece of the musician in me. There's a piece of the businessman that was in me, and there was a piece of the child that's still in me. That I could stand there and wave the flag. Well, the first thing we did with it was, our thoughts were, we have to let the community know about it. And of course, Gleason and I decided one day that we would go down to City Hall to make this happen. That we would be able to unfurl the Black American Heritage flag. Well, of course, when we laid this plan out to the mayor at that time, he was absolutely, unbelievably stunned that we would come with a thought like that. And of course, we had the thought of saying, we can make this happen. That was in our hearts. There was some opposition to it. But the fact of the matter is, we had come up with a final decision that the flag would be put up on March 5th at City Hall in Newark, New Jersey. Wow, what a wonderful moment to see something like this actually happen. And as we got closer to City Hall, on a flagpole standing outside, on a high flagpole, we saw the Negro flag being unfurled. What a wonderful moment for Gleason T. Jackson and Melvin Charles. I felt like I had won the Super Bowl. I really thought that way. I saw this happening. And I was very proud of it. And I'm proud of it every time I see it unfurl. I'm proud of it every time I speak about it. I'm proud to be here at this very moment of my life to speak to you about it.
Melvin Charles died.
Okay. It was a different flags on here. Because it was a different flags I saw oh, here we go. Oh, let me turn that music down. I mean, it was a different colors right here. Hold on, let me click up this. See, I look all the stuff right here. Oh, my fact, hold on, I got this. No, never mind. See, I'm gonna do this because these are different types of flags on here. I'm gonna get off here at 10:30 anyway. See, that's the different flags on here. And now I don't know why the pro blacks didn't research on different flags, but they'll never had talked about it. So real sad how these pro blacks don't know what real flag is. But if these pro blacks got a problem with me, I would debate them. I mean, wow. Man, just so sad that you got people don't know what different types of Pan-Africanism is. The different flags I had did a lot of research. So just give me a second, people. I'll be upgrading my stuff real soon. Just upgrading my stuff real soon. When I give me a new table, another microphone arm, a new microphone. This time gonna be another mic too. So I mean, that's another thing with Pan-Africanism flag. They never tell you about the different flags, and they had no videos of other flags that represent all the nations of Africa's and they'll never talk about that. Like I could do like hundreds of research of Pan-Africans flags, and they get mad at me for what I'm about to present. Hold on, let me do this. Oh, different types of pan. Okay, flag, Pan-Africa flag. Oh, I already showed you the videos of it. Because they had different types of Africa flags. Hold on, let me. I meant to say Africa. Damn. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. Here we go. Blow this up. The Afro-American flag. I don't know what that is. Black Liberation flag. International Africa flag. The Marcus Garvey flag. The UNVA flag after its organizers. The Universal flag. The red, black, green RBG flag. The Black Nationalist flag. See. See, these are different types of flags right here. Okay. Pan-African system. Look. Oh, here we go. This right here. The flag of this. Hold on. I'm gonna play that video right quick. I'm gonna stay there long before I get a lot of views on here. About this. All right, here we go. Okay, we're going. Okay, we're gonna click out this. Oh, we're gonna play this video right here. 3 videos we're gonna be out. All right. Nah, hold on.
Flag of Ethiopia.
The man must have a red, gold, and green on the pants to write it.
I think this the wrong. Hold on. Here we go. I think this the right one. No. Hold on, let me click off this shit. That's the, I don't know, I clicked the wrong one. All right, there we go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to.
Let me click off. Let's click off this. We're gonna do this. Click off this shit. I'm clicking the wrong stuff. Here we go.
American Heritage Flag. And if this is your first time seeing it, then you are in the right place.
Melvin Charles and Gleason T. Jackson designed a symbol to represent the history, pride, and accomplishments of African Americans in response to the struggles of 1960s America. Charles tells his story about the creation of the Black American Heritage Flag.
I think one of the interesting points about the creation of the flag in the mind is that it was in both our minds for a long time. Even as a child at 3 years old, I would go and sit on the curb in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and watch the parade go by. I see the American flag, and I see the flag that represents Italian, Spanish, whatever it might be, and they would march up and down the street honoring the 30th of May. And then when it came time for the Negro, at that time we were called, I remember every year we would march down, and guess what? All we had was the American flag. And I went home to my mother, and I remember asking her, and I think I couldn't have been no more than 5 or 6 at that point. I said, Mommy, why don't we have a flag? But every once in a while, it would creep into my mind. Until one day, when this gentleman by the name of Gleason T. Jackson, a neighbor of mine, sat down with me and started talking about the idea of something we could do in the 60s about trying to make progress for our race of people. And then he mentioned the word of a flag. I said, if you're willing to try, I'm willing to be there with you. I have great thoughts about it. I think it will take some time, but I want to design a flag. And that's when we started. The next process was for us to be able to get together, to sit down and talk about what we wanted to put in the flag. But after about 2.5 weeks, we came up with this idea to make a flag that had diagonal stripes of red and black, and to have a fig wreath circled in the center of it, and a blunted sword. And of course, we had to recognize that each item, we had to have some sort of explanation. And then when we looked at the blunted sword, we thought of the feeling of having pride, and also knowing that when you have a blunted sword, when you blunt it, you learn to curdle the earth. And then we thought about the wreath, which we also had in the color gold, that would be for peace, prosperity, and everlasting life. And the red would be for the rich blood we've shed for freedom, justice, and human dignity. And the color black was for the pride in our pigmentation. The inspiration basically came from us sitting down, not only sitting down and talking about it, but I would go to the library, he would go to the library. We'd both go. And we sat down and looked at all the different items. There's a thought pattern that we put into it. I mean, I think about, it was a piece of the musician in me. There was a piece of the businessman that was in me, and there was a piece of the child that's still in me. That I could stand there and wave the flag. Well, the first thing we did with it was, our thoughts were, we have to let the community know about it. And of course, Gleason and I decided one day that we would go down to City Hall to make this happen. That we would be able to unfurl the Black American Heritage flag. Well, of course, when we laid this plan out to the mayor at that time, he was absolutely, unbelievably stunned that we would come with a thought like that. And of course, we had the thought of saying, we can make this happen. That was in our hearts. There was some opposition to it. But the fact of the matter is, we had come up with a final decision that the flag would be put up on March 5th at City Hall in Newark, New Jersey. Wow, what a wonderful moment to see something like this actually happen. And as we got closer to City Hall, on a flagpole standing outside, on a high flagpole, we saw the Negro flag being unfurled. What a wonderful moment for Gleason T. Jackson and Melvin Charles. I felt like I had won the Super Bowl. I really thought that way. I saw this happening. And I was very proud of it. And I'm proud of it every time I see it unfurl. I'm proud of it every time I speak about it. I'm proud to be here at this very moment of my life to speak to you about it.
Melvin Charles.
Okay, let me do this. Oh, this nigga right here is a complete idiot.
We'll get to that story in just a moment, but first, the city of Springfield coming together today to kick off Black History Month.
22 News reporter Duncan McLean is live here in studio with a look inside the ceremony.
Yeah, guys, the community coming together today to recognize the importance of this month and to acknowledge the additional work necessary.
Because that flag became in 1967. It was designed by Melvin Charles and Jason T. Jackson. Here we go. Yeah, okay. Because that was for civil rights. So, guys, I'm finna get off here, man. I ain't gonna stay here that long. I'm out. Peace.
Stay in your motherfucking lane, nigga. I love hip-hop. I love this motherfucking hip-hop game. This nigga here is a little nigga. You fucking with a dawn, nigga. Yeah, follow me. Since 14, I was waving that thing. Had niggas doorbells, you called, I let it ring. Dominicanos uptown, they yelling Tato. New York's Pablo, same lawyer as Chapo. Brand new ass and titties, she can't wait. Soon as it get hot, call it Tatiana Day. We got accountants to watch the accounts. Coke flowing out the fountains, pool dripping off the mountains. Got that new word, flood the city with. You call it a chandelier, that's two colonists on my wrist. I've been running it ever since, these niggas is on E. I got them trapping out the Airbnb. Small time niggas, we are not those guys. Just cop the ace of spade, nigga, Costco size. Influence the hustlers to go cop those. My code dead, I'm about to rock on live.
Like it's me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego.
Watch nights, these niggas play security, they top flight. Craig and dating, I kick it like payday. Got your mom's height, the time right. Sing powder in the sky like I'm LeBron Knight. Stack that paper till it look down on you like LeBron height. Black leather jacket, Fonz tight. This is a Don's life. Chocolate outside, leather seats white, look like a Klondike. This Cuban look like shattered glass, remind me of a ball fight. Project bitch that answer the phone and know how to talk white. I cook flights on the line with Javante, we talk fights. I done ran in spots, so it's nothing for me to walk like. Street fight like Vega, Sega, I beg my mom's foot. Nah, I cop Bottega, play Vegas, see shit that box so. I look important, Rick Owens on me, we you on the top floor. Slamming banks, smoking these, listening to Shabba Ranks. Gallery the park, got me looking like I probably paid. I used to hop the train, now Celine umbrella block the rain.
It's me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego. Me and my ego, just me and my ego.
Package laws be your backpack. We send it back across platinum cross, eating radios like I'm an acting boss. Rappers rabble, force niggas out in the past the torch. That's the sport. Food for thought, they wouldn't pass a fork. Harlem icon, Dazzler mixed with Dylon. I spit fire and make stretch with my right arm. So fast pitching, they should be watered to Sion. Pelicans get they fly on. Definite like they Zion. You play a stop, put money on you like player prop. Silence of potato pop, turn the shit into tater tots. Trying to shake the block, play the blocks around 8 o'clock. See the ones I gave to and who I pay to watch. Be the lookouts, counsel meet at the cookout. Let's get drunk and discuss all the bad bitches we shook out. Chicks and lads we took out. Candyman the hook out. Niggas ain't hot, just another fire to put out.
Like it's me and my ego.